Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
In the dim light of the Neon Nebula Tavern, the air pulsated with an eclectic mix of sounds. Holographic images flickered overhead, showcasing vibrant images of distant galaxies and tempting delicacies that beckoned patrons from across the universe. Matthew leaned against the bar, a worn leather jacket draped over his broad shoulders. He watched as the eclectic crowd of humans and aliens mingled, their laughter and conversations creating a soothing background noise. His rugged features reflected a man accustomed to solitude. Matthew had spent years exploring the far reaches of space, often plagued by the weight of his own thoughts. Tonight, however, was different. An underlying sense of anticipation thrummed through him, mingled with an old, familiar longing, an ache for connection he had buried deep within. With a deep breath, he summoned the bartender, a wiry alien with 2 sets of eyes and a voice like silk. "I'll have something exotic," he said, a hint of challenge lacing his tone. "Surprise me." As the bartender mixed a glowing cocktail, Matthew's gaze drifted across the room. The patrons seemed to enjoy themselves, indulging in laughter and flirtation, while he felt like a shadow on the periphery, unseen and alone. After minutes that felt like ages, the bartender placed a steaming dish in front of him. "And for your entree, we have fresh meat." The bartender grinned slyly. Matthew's brows furrowed, curiosity piqued, as he looked up to meet the bartender's gaze. "Fresh meat," he echoed, amusement edging into his tone. "Came in just this morning," the bartender replied with a wink. "I never imagined that kind of dish would be on the menu here." Matthew chuckled, his urbanity mingling with intrigue as he scanned the tavern. Moments later, the tavern door swung open, and the lively chatter halted for a beat. All eyes turned to the entrance as the tavern staff emerged, leading a figure that stole the breath from Matthew's lungs, Sophia, a stunning alien girl. She stood out, framed by cascading silvery hair that glimmered like starlight, and her skin bore iridescent patterns that danced in the dim light. Her large, expressive eyes held a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. Matthew's heart raced as he connected their gazes, his world shifting at that moment. Sophia's expression was a mixture of confusion and fear. She was truly fresh meat, brought in as a product to be served, sold, and consumed. But beneath the alien beauty lay a spirit that fought against her circumstances. This was not just a creature to satiate desire. She was a being full of hopes and dreams yet to be explored. For a brief moment, the noise of the tavern faded away, replaced by an undeniable connection that sparked between them. As she was placed before him, Matthew felt a resolve growing inside. He would not let curiosity be the end of her story. "Fresh meat, huh?" he murmured, breaking the silence that had enveloped them. "Let's see if you're more than just the dish I ordered." Matthew's heart raced as he took in Sophia's striking appearance. For a fleeting moment, he forgot the world around him, captivated by the intensity of her gaze. It quickly became apparent that she was much more than the fresh meat he had ordered. Can I help you?" Sophia's voice pulled Matthew from his thoughts. Her tone balanced between defensive and curious, but there was a hint of enchantment woven into her words. Matthew cleared his throat, casting a glance around the tavern. Most patrons resumed their conversations, some throwing cautious looks in Sophia's direction, yet she remained the center of his focus. "I'm Matthew," he replied, half smiling, wanting to ease her apprehension. "And you?" "Sophia," she responded softly, her eyes darting around, fully aware of the audience. She hesitated, the weight of her situation settling on her shoulders. "What do you want from me?" Matthew's mind raced, searching for a response that wouldn't make him seem like every other patron who gazed hungrily at her. "Well, for starters, I didn't expect to have a conversation with my meal," he said lightly, trying to break the tension. "I thought this would just be another lonely dinner." A flicker of surprise crossed Sophia's face. "Lonely?" she echoed, as if the concept was foreign to her. "Yeah, lonely," Matthew admitted with a shrug. "I'm an explorer, and it can get pretty isolating out here in the stars. Sometimes I just want something real." Sophia's eyes softened, intrigued by his honesty. "You're not like the others, are you?" she asked, her voice low. "They just see me as a commodity." "No," he hesitated, imposing gravity to assure her he wasn't playing with her hopes. "I see you as a person. You have your own life, your own story." At that, Sophia looked down, a mix of emotions washing over her features. "I didn't ask to be a part of this," she admitted, sadness creeping into her voice. "I come from a planet where we're valued for our spirit, not our flesh." The word flesh emerged with a squirm of distaste as she glanced toward the other patrons, their imbalance of desire palpable. Matthew felt an ache in his chest. "I'm sorry," he whispered, genuinely regretful. "That shouldn't be anyone's fate." Sophia looked back at him, a spark igniting in her gaze. "So, what do you propose? A chat over dinner? Is that all I'm worth?" "Not all," Matthew replied, urging her to trust him. "But I think you're much more than a meal. I want to learn about your world, your dreams. I want to know you." She hesitated, studying him with sharp, perceptive eyes. "And if I tell you about my life, what then? Will it make a difference?" The challenge in her voice was both a shield and an invitation. "Why not?" Matthew leaned closer, determined to break through the layers of apprehension and mistrust. "If there's even a chance of sparking hope, isn't it worth taking?" Sophia considered his words carefully before settling into the conversation. "Fine. I was born on Lunaria, a world full of bioluminescent flora and fauna. My people are caretakers of the land, connected to nature in ways I can't explain. We don't think the way others do, She paused, catching herself. "I've always dreamed of exploring the universe. Instead, I find myself here." "Exploring the universe sounds remarkable," Matthew said, captivated by her passion. "What do you imagine finding out there?" "I want to discover worlds with beauty and spirit, like my home," she said fervently, her eyes lighting up. "But I also want to understand connection. It's something I fear and long for in equal measure. I feel like a leaf being tossed in the wind, never able to catch the breeze." "I get that," Matthew replied softly, drawn into her vulnerability. "Sometimes I feel like that too, but maybe the distance between our worlds isn't as vast as it seems. Perhaps there's hope for understanding." A week ago, such musings would have felt entirely foreign to him. But here, sitting with a beautiful alien girl forced into servitude for mere survival, something essential sparked within him, an urgency to help. Their conversation continued, weaving complex threads of understanding that slowly connected their vastly different worlds. Matthew listened intently, enraptured by her stories. He could see her turmoil and hope, a potent blend igniting his desire to forge a bond that transcended the tavern's grim circumstances. Just as Matthew began to feel a tentative optimism, the tavern's atmosphere shifted. A bulky figure loomed near the entrance, casting a long shadow over their intimacy. The patron's aura exuded a sinister energy that filled the air with tension. Sophia's posture immediately stiffened, an instinctive wariness intertwining with the air around her. "Matthew," she said urgently, her voice trembling slightly. "We need to go. Now." As the bulky figure stepped closer, Matthew could see the jagged tattoos inked across his skin, the markings of a slaver, someone who viewed beings as insurance on a financial investment. Without thinking, Matthew grabbed Sophia's hand, pulling her away from their table. "Come on," he urged, his heart racing. "I'll get you out of here." Sophia hesitated for a heartbeat, torn between the fear of the imminent danger and the glimmer of hope ignited by Matthew's presence. And then, with a courageous resolve, she squeezed his hand tightly and followed him into the unknown. The narrow corridors of the Neon Nebula Tavern echoed with urgency as Matthew and Sophia maneuvered through the throng of patrons. With each frantic step, adrenaline surged through Matthew's veins, focusing his thoughts on leading them to safety. "Where do we go?" Sophia whispered, glancing over her shoulder, her eyes wide with fear. "Out the back exit," Matthew replied quickly, his instincts guiding him through the maze of tables and colorful occupants. He clutched her hand tightly, feeling the warmth radiate between them, a pulsating reminder of something worth protecting. As they reached the dimly lit back door, Matthew shoved it open. The cool night air hit them like a wave, grounding them briefly amid the chaos. They stepped outside, the sounds of the tavern fading behind them. "Okay," Matthew breathed, scanning their surroundings. "We need to blend in until the threat passes." They stood in a narrow alley that led to the main thoroughfare of the space station. The colorful neon lights flickered overhead, and shouts echoed from the tavern's patrons as they realized the disturbance inside. Matthew glanced at Sophia. Her skin shimmered faintly, and the echoes of previous conversations danced in her expressive eyes. "Is he following us?" Sophia asked, her voice steadying as she focused on their escape. "I don't think so," Matthew answered, seeing the slaver still loitering at the tavern's door. "But we shouldn't linger. Come on." Sophia nodded, and together they set off down the alley, steadily increasing their pace. The tension from moments ago had tethered them, intertwining their fates amidst the uncertainty of what lay ahead. As they rounded a corner, Matthew directed them toward a quieter area of the station, away from the bustling crowd. The air felt calmer here, almost serene compared to the chaos they'd just left behind. "Why did you help me?" Sophia asked, her curiosity shifting now that they had escaped the immediate danger. "It wasn't really a choice," Matthew replied, eyes focused forward. "I couldn't just sit by and watch you be treated like that, like an object." "But you hardly know me," she protested lightly, though a hint of gratitude colored her tone. "I know enough," he insisted, slowing their pace as they approached a secluded park area filled with soft, glowing flora that reminded him of the bioluminescent plants she described on Lunaria. "You have a spark in you that shouldn't be trapped." They found a bench beneath orbs of gentle light, and Matthew perched himself on the edge, gesturing for Sophia to sit next to him. She hesitated only for a moment before joining him, their shoulders brushing together. "I felt lost in there," Sophia admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "But with you it's different. I'm not sure how to explain it." Matthew turned toward her, appreciating the vulnerability woven into her words. "Maybe it's because we're both searching for something more," he suggested, "even if we're worlds apart." Sophia met his gaze, her expressive eyes reflecting a myriad of emotions. "You're right. I've always wanted to travel, but not like this." She paused, swallowing hard. "I was destined for exploration, yet here I am, dragged into a fate that isn't mine." "I'll help you break free from that," Matthew promised, feeling a connection deepen between them. "You deserve to explore, to experience life on your own terms." For a moment, Sophia studied him, her expression shifting to something softer, more contemplative. "What about you? You're an explorer, yet you've been running from something too, haven't you?" Matthew's stomach twisted at the thought of his own past. He had buried it deeply, unwilling to face the darkness that lingered within. "It's complicated," he finally answered, the weight of the truth pressing down. "But yes, I've been running from loneliness, from pain. I thought I could escape it through adventure, but it's only made things worse." Sophia's hand brushed against his, and he felt an electric jolt of recognition in her touch. "Maybe we should explore together," she suggested carefully, her voice filled with quiet determination. "I mean beyond the stars. We could wander into the unknown together." Her invitation hung between them, rich with potential, as Matthew considered the enormity of her words. "Together," he echoed, an unexpected warmth filling his chest. "Yes," Sophia smiled, her confidence blooming. "You showed me kindness in a moment of darkness. I want to learn more about you, about humanity, and your perspective on life." Matthew felt a sense of wonder bloom in his heart, a sudden glimpse into a future he hadn't dared to hope for. "I'd like that," he confessed, his voice steady. "There's so much I could teach you, and I have a feeling you'd teach me just as much about your world." Just as they settled into the moment, a rustle from behind the bushes broke the atmosphere, and their heads turned in unison, alert once more. Matthew's instincts kicked in as he muttered, "Stay close." From the shadows emerged a figure, a sleek, silver-skinned alien with multiple limbs and vibrant markings across its body. It stepped toward them with caution, but its demeanor emanated concern, not aggression. "Are you two all right?" it asked in a melodic voice that danced through the air like a gentle breeze. Matthew instinctively placed his body in front of Sophia, protective instincts rising. "Who are you?" he demanded, eyes darting for signs of danger. "I am Xyler, a traveler and friend," it replied smoothly. "I saw you both fleeing from Karnak, the slaver. You're fortunate to have escaped him." "How do you know my name?" Sophia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "As I said, I travel among many worlds and have witnessed much," Xyler explained, flattening its limbs as a sign of peace. "Your spirit shines brightly, Sophia, and your companion's resolve is commendable." Matthew relaxed slightly, glancing at Sophia. "What do you want?" he asked, suspicion still lingering. "Only to help," Xyler said with genuine warmth. "I sensed your struggle as I watched from a distance. There's always a way out, but escaping the grasp of unsavory beings requires allies." Matthew's eyes narrowed. "Allies?" "There are networks of travelers, individuals willing to assist those wishing for freedom," Xyler elaborated. "We can offer you sanctuary, a chance to leave behind this world and seek the journeys you both desire. If you accept, time is of the essence. Karnak may have captured your scent already." Sophia's gaze flickered with a mix of apprehension and hope. "What do you mean?" she asked, questing deeper into Xyler's proposition. "There's no other way to assure your safety. Traveling hidden paths through the universe is perilous yet exhilarating," Xyler said with conviction. "But it's the only way to secure your freedom. I can take you both, but only if you're willing." Matthew shared a glance with Sophia, mixed emotions swirling in the air between them. This was the moment he had yearned for, a chance to break free from the past and forge a new destiny. Yet the uncertainties of the unknown trembled at the edges of his mind. "Are you ready?" Matthew asked Sophia, feeling the weight of the decision settle heavily between them. "Ready to explore, ready to break free." Sophia's eyes sparkled with determination, the fear ebbing away. "Yes, I want this. With you." With a nod of conviction, Matthew grasped her hand tighter. "Then let's do it." Xyler smiled, sensing their resolve. "Very well. Follow me, adventure awaits." Together, the trio moved deeper into the night, guided by the possibility of new beginnings and the promise that exploration offered. Matthew's heart swelled with newfound hope. This was just the beginning. As they followed Xyler through the shadowed alleys of the space station, Matthew felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Each step led them further from the familiar, deeper into the unknown. Sophia walked closely beside him, her hand securely intertwined with his, grounding him amidst the turmoil swirling in his mind. Xyler guided them to a concealed transport dock where a sleek, silver ship awaited. Its physique glimmered like liquid mercury under the flickering lights of the station. "This is Starlight, a vessel designed for stealth and speed," Xyler explained, gesturing toward the entrance. "It's equipped to bypass patrols and navigate the chaotic expanse of space." "Can it really outrun a slaver's ship?" Matthew questioned, wariness creeping into his voice. "Absolutely," Xyler assured him, "but it will require your cooperation and a leap of faith to set sail into the stars." Matthew exchanged a glance with Sophia, who nodded, her determination radiating through their connection. "What do we have to lose?" he whispered to her. Inside, the ship was a labyrinth of glowing controls and alien technology that pulsated with life. Matthew marveled at its design, his excitement palpable as Xyler initiated the startup sequence. "Prepare for ascent," it instructed, its limbs moving with fluid grace. As Starlight lifted off, a wave of exhilaration washed over Matthew. They left the embrace of the space station behind, stars stretching out before them, vast and inviting. The horizon shimmered with galaxies waiting to be explored, and for the first time in years, Matthew felt a sense of belonging, an assurance that he was on the right path. "Where to?" Sophia asked, her voice tinged with excitement. First, we must reach the Veil of Luminos, a hidden gateway that leads to undiscovered planets, Xyla replied, adjusting course as the ship soared through space. Once they were settled, Matthew found himself drawn closer to Sophia. The proximity brought warmth, a shared knowledge of their individual struggles, and a silent invitation to explore something deeper. As they traversed the ocean of stars together, their eyes met, and the vulnerability they had both shared earlier hung in the air, thick with unspoken longing. "Matthew," Sophia began, her voice barely a whisper, yet it resonated with clarity. "What if we never return?" "Then so be it," he replied, brimming with confidence, "because at least we'll be together. There's something powerful in companionship, especially when facing the unknown." The ship hummed, and through the windows, the swirling stars painted a breathtaking backdrop. Sophia turned to him, her heart racing. "I'm frightened, but I also feel so alive. What if we truly find that connection we've both longed for?" Matthew struggled with the weight of her words. Their journey together was already forging an unbreakable bond, an intertwining of fate that brought them closer. "Then I want to explore that connection, Sophia," he said, feeling the tension between them grow electric. "I want to know you, not just as an explorer of worlds, but as a person who loves, dreams, and feels." Her breath caught in her throat, the reality of his words washing over her as if igniting a long-buried flame within. Sophia knew that to embrace this newfound connection would require vulnerability and honesty, the very essence of trust. "Do you really mean that?" she asked softly, searching his gaze for sincerity. "More than anything," Matthew murmured, his proximity inviting an intimacy that danced between them. "You've awakened feelings in me I thought I lost forever." Sophia's heartbeat quickened, and with trembling fingers, she brushed her hand against his face. "We're so different, yet here we are, drawn to one another," she mused, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, different," Matthew echoed, reaching for her hand, leading it to rest against his heart. "But that only makes this connection more extraordinary." In that moment, the world outside ceased to exist. Matthew leaned closer, their breaths mingling as desire sparked between them. The tension was palpable, a magnetic force pulling them together, urging them to embrace the connection they had found amidst the chaos. "Is this really happening?" Sophia asked, feeling a conflagration of emotions. "It is," he confirmed. "Let's not fight it." And then, without hesitation, their lips met in a tentative but passionate kiss. The world outside faded as they melted into each other, time losing all meaning. The kiss ignited a fervor within both of them, an understanding that they were at the precipice of something beautiful, something worth risking everything for. But just as they began to lose themselves in each other, the ship jolted unexpectedly, red lights flashing across the control panel as alarms blared. Xyler's voice rang through the cabin, urgent and unyielding. "Incoming vessel. Prepare for evasive maneuvers." Matthew pulled away, his heart racing as they were suddenly thrust back into reality. "What's happening?" he demanded, adrenaline surging through his veins. "A slaver ship has detected our ascent. We need to move now," Xyler exclaimed, its limbs working frantically at the controls. "Come on." Matthew grabbed Sophia's hand, ready to face whatever lay ahead together. They had barely begun to explore the depths of their connection, and already their lives were on the line. Xyler maneuvered Starlight with agility, expertly dodging laser fire from the slaver's ship. "If we don't evade them, we'll be taken back to the station." Boom! The ship shook violently as a blast struck close to them, alarms blaring louder. "Stay low," Matthew shouted as they braced against the sudden turbulence. Physical closeness brought comfort amidst the chaos, yet confusion surged through him. The threats from outside felt trivial compared to the bond they had just forged. "Can you get us out of here, Xyler?" Sophia shouted, her voice tinged with fear yet laced with determination. "I can," Xyler replied, grit evident in its voice. "But I require both of your assistance. Channel your energy, feel your connection, and focus on escaping. Matthew and Sophia exchanged glances, reassured by the depth of their understanding. "Together," he yelled, gripping her hand tightly again. "Trust in us." As they closed their eyes, Matthew felt Sophia's heartbeat synchronized with his. They focused their energy, pouring their thoughts of freedom, the longing for connection, and the dreams of exploration into a palpable force. Seconds felt like an eternity as they channeled their emotions, allowing the intensity between them to fuel their escape. Starlight shuddered as Xyler harnessed their energy, propelling them forward with newfound power. The ship shot away from the slaver's grasp, bursting through the stars, the danger of the station receding further into oblivion. "Hold on," Xyler commanded, guiding them into a hidden realm of asteroids where the slaver's ship could not pursue. With the chaotic lights dimming behind them, they felt a rush of exhilaration and triumph. "Did we do it?" Sophia whispered, emotion spilling over into her voice. "We did," Matthew responded, a breathless smile breaking across his face. The threat may have subsided, but the sudden realization of what they had achieved washed over him. They were alive, and they were together. Xyler turned to them, its bioluminescent form glowing brightly. "You have forged a powerful bond, one that may help you both survive the trials to come. This connection is what will carry you through the darkness." Matthew and Sophia exchanged glances, their hearts swelling with both joy and uncertainty. They had faced danger and emerged victorious, but an uncharted future lay ahead, filled with new worlds to explore and deeper connections to forge. In that moment, Matthew took Sophia's hand once more, cradling it between his own. "No matter what happens next, we'll face it together." Sophia smiled, the light of hope illuminating her eyes. "Together, always." As the ship glided through the asteroid field, Matthew and Sophia found solace in the small, secure space of the starlight. The initial thrill of survival faded, giving way to an intimate quiet, the kind that stirred emotions buried beneath layers of turmoil. Matthew turned to Sophia, their hands still linked, and felt the gravity of their situation sink in. "Now what?" he asked softly, his gaze searching hers. "Now we explore," Sophia replied, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Not just the universe, but what we can be together." Matthew felt a warmth spread through him at her words. "Together," he echoed. The tension that had built during their escape began to simmer beneath the surface, urging him to confront what had blossomed between them. "You spoke of connection," Sophia said, her voice steady, yet laced with anticipation. "I think what we share goes beyond friendship. I can feel it, the pull between us." She took a step closer, their bodies inching together. "Don't you feel it as well?" His heart raced. "More than ever," Matthew admitted. "I want you and everything that comes with it. I want our souls to entwine." As he spoke, the air thickened with desire. There was a fervor in Sophia's eyes, an invitation interwoven with vulnerability. "Mating isn't just a physical act for my people. It's a union, a sharing of our essence." "I understand," he replied, a fire igniting within him. "It's a commitment like no other." Sophia took a breath, her expression softening. "Are you ready to embrace that with me?" Matthew nodded, a firm resolution settling in his chest. "Yes, I am. I want to experience everything with you, Sophia." The intensity of their connection ignited something primal between them. He reached forward, brushing his thumb against her chin, coaxing her closer. The moment hovered in the air, charged and electric. "Then let's unite," she whispered, her voice trembling with anticipation. As their lips met, the kiss deepened, fueled by their shared longing and the realization that they were kindred spirits in a universe full of possibility. The kiss tasted of starlight and promises, enveloping them in warmth as they shed their fears and doubts, wrapped in each other's embrace. Matthew's hands trailed from her waist, exploring every curve and shape. Sophia melted into him, her skin warming beneath his touch. He felt the beat of her heart sync with his, a dance of life that pushed them closer toward that pivotal moment of joining. Breaking from the kiss, he gazed into her eyes, his breath hitching in his throat. "Are you sure?" he asked, searching for affirmation. "More than ever," Sophia replied, her voice laced with desire. "Let's bind our spirits." With a mutual understanding, they both leaned into the physicality of their union, bodies intertwining. Matthew felt an extraordinary warmth envelop them, as if the universe itself rejoiced in their connection. As he entered her, the world fell away, and a soft, harmonious rhythm enveloped them. Their mating was not merely physical. It fused their essences, the embodiment of their spirits dancing together. Each movement ignited brilliant sparks, flooding their minds with visions of shared adventures and cosmic possibilities. "Matthew," Sophia gasped, her voice a melody that drove him deeper. "This is incredible." "Just you," he murmured, losing himself in the depths of her gaze. "It's always been you." They explored each other with urgency, passion, and tenderness, giving fully to the experience. The space around them transformed into their sanctuary, a shelter where their laughter and gasps echoed joyously. As the cosmos swirled outside the ship, Matthew and Sophia reached that exquisite pinnacle together, feeling the blending of their souls. In that moment of pure bliss, they sealed their bond, a promise of unwavering companionship, ready to face the unknown horizon that awaited them. Enveloped in each other's arms, they lay together in the warm afterglow, feeling the whispers of the universe around them. The journey ahead would be fraught with uncertainty, but they knew they would meet it head-on, together. "Where do we go from here?" Sophia asked, her head nestled against his chest. "The stars are ours to explore," Matthew replied, a smile playing on his lips. "And now we do it as one." As the starlight drifted deeper into the cosmos, Matthew and Sophia found joy in every moment, knowing their hearts had found a home amid the vastness of the universe. Together, they ventured forward, fueled by love, friendship, and an adventurous spirit that promised endless exploration.